Okay, so welcome back to another video on this channel. Welcome back to another match reaction for a Premier League fixture, and of course today we have the big one, the North London derby, the first one of the season between Tottenham and Arsenal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in front of 2,000 Spurs fans as well. And yeah, a massive game for both sides, not only in the fact that obviously, as everybody knows, they have a massive rivalry, these two clubs, but also in terms of the fortunes of both clubs' seasons as well, because Spurs of course are in a bit of a title challenge at the moment, and I think a win today would go a long way towards obviously achieving that goal. Arsenal on the other hand, they've just had an absolutely dreadful last month or so, and they will be looking to put things right with a performance at the very least today against Tottenham. I think if they come away with a point, they'd be very, very happy. In terms of the lineups, I mean, a massive surprise in terms of Arsenal's 11, because Thomas Partey has come back into the starting 11 out of absolutely nowhere, if I'm honest. In my opinion, it will be quite interesting to see if Thomas Partey can obviously play to his full performance today, because there obviously will be question marks over whether he's actually fully fit and whether or not Arsenal have actually rushed him back in time for this game or not. Spurs on the other hand, missing Tanguy and Ndombele. He's not even on the bench, and obviously I don't know why, but Giovanni Lo Celso comes in his place. Not a bad replacement for him whatsoever, and Toby Alderweireld also does come back into the back four as well, which is a massive boost for them. But yeah, if we're going for a preview in this game, Mikel Arteta, obviously in his short tenure as Arsenal boss now, I think it's just under a year he's taken over at Arsenal, and as we've seen so far from him, he seems to excel in these sort of games, but obviously the challenge now for him is to take on a tactical magician in Jose Mourinho and try and get the better of him in a tactical sense, which is obviously going to be a more difficult challenge than probably he realises. But yeah, overall I think whatever happens today, I think we will get a very, very good game. I think it'll be very close, contrary to what a lot of people think, because a lot of people do think Spurs are just going to walk away with this one and put like 3 or 4 past Arsenal. I would not be surprised whatsoever if Arsenal did come away with at least a point from this game, but overall I think Spurs are just about going to nick this one, going to have too much quality for this Arsenal team, who, as I said, are on very, very low morale at the moment. And yeah, let's see what happens in the first half. I'll talk to you guys at half time. Okay, so that is half time. Tottenham 2, Arsenal 0 at half time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What a game of football we have seen, particularly from Tottenham, who have just been absolutely blistering as usual on the counter-attack with Kane and Son. To be honest, not many complaints from Arsenal's mentality going into this game. I thought they started off the game very, very well. They were looking to try and be positive, but overall, the one thing when you do that against a team like Spurs, the one thing you cannot do is go 1-0 down, and obviously when they did go 1-0 down, it played right into the hands of Tottenham, because from then Arsenal just had no choice but to actually try and go for it, and then obviously it plays right into Spurs' hands, because then they can sit back and try and catch them on the counter again, which they did right at the end of the first half with Harry Kane's goal. And yeah, one counter at the very start of the game, Kane obviously doing very well to hold it up, and lays it off to Son, who done absolutely brilliantly, first of all to run forward, and then what an absolutely sensational strike that is. A moment of magic from Heung-min Son that put Spurs 1-0 ahead. And then they made it 2-0 of course at the very end of the second half, yet another counter attack, and this time it was Son that turned provider for Harry Kane with just an absolutely emphatic finish in off the crossbar. And yeah, overall I think Spurs have very much controlled, just dominated, and they look really, really comfortable from even off the ball and on the ball, and overall I think they massively deserve their lead at half time. In terms of Arsenal's standpoint, I mean, going forward, it just looks like whenever they get forward, it's just a case of let's whip it into the box and see if something happens. I think Aubameyang's been really sloppy, Saka's been sloppy, Willian's been non-existent, Lacazette playing behind the striker, who's just been completely isolated. I think Thomas Partey is the only one that's actually trying to get in the ball and trying to create something for Arsenal, and even still it's gone from bad to worse for Arsenal, because he has been taken off with a suspected injury at half time, and Dani Ceballos comes on for him. So yeah, as I said, Spurs just look like they're in control, they look calm, they look like they're very, very confident in their structure, and overall it would not surprise me whatsoever if Spurs did, you know, just completely attack this Arsenal team in the second half, and it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if Arsenal just capitulated and Spurs scored like 4 or 5 goals in the second half. Mikel Arteta has an absolute mountain to climb with this Arsenal team in the second half, because they are missing, in my opinion, their man of the match in that first half, and being 2 goals down to a team like Spurs, who, as I said, they'll embrace being 2-0 up, and obviously plays right into their hands. So yeah, it's very, very nervy if you're going to be an Arsenal fan or even an Arsenal player playing out on that pitch, because yeah, I just wouldn't be surprised whatsoever, as I said, if Arsenal just completely capitulated and rolled over and Spurs just put the absolute gun into Arsenal's head, if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, only time will tell. We shall see what happens in the second half in this game, and whatever happens in the second half, once again, it should prove to be a decent half of football. And yeah, let's see, can Spurs outdo this Arsenal team once again, and maybe put a few more past them. And yeah, let's see what happens in the second half. I'll speak to you guys at full time. Right, so full time, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Arsenal 0. Now obviously a much flatter second half, particularly in terms of Tottenham's performance, but overall I don't think they'll care whatsoever. They got the job done and got themselves another massive 3 points. Arsenal actually did dominate the second half quite a bit. You know, they had the main share of possession, they also tried to create chances, but overall I feel like they did dominate simply because Spurs were just content to sit back and let Arsenal come at them, and ultimately just hold out and defend for the rest of the game. And yeah, with that domination, Arsenal really just didn't create anything from the amount of possession they had, and overall they just looked really, really flat. And overall, for a team that on paper you look at them, they have a lot of attacking talent, and for some reason they just look really just average in attack, and they have absolutely no conviction, no creativity whatsoever, and I just don't know what's gone wrong for them in terms of striking. For me, the only Arsenal players that can walk off off that pitch with their heads held high are Alexandre Lacazette. I thought he was very, very decent with a very minimal attacking intent alongside him. I thought Kieran Tierney was very good at left back, and I thought Thomas Partey had a very good first half. Unfortunately, did come off injured, which I think definitely obviously depleted Arsenal's chances in this game. In terms of Tottenham, I thought Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, my man of the match. You guys know if you watch this channel, I think he's incredibly underrated. I think he's borderline world class, and I think him alongside Moussa Sissoko, they controlled the midfield battle. They ran their socks off for the whole 90 minutes and fought at both ends of the pitch, and I thought they were absolutely incredible, the two of them. Harry Kane and Heung-min Son once again did their jobs, and after those 2 moments of brilliance each, obviously they sat back and obviously helped the defence out in terms of holding out the game, so obviously very, very positive in terms of their performances as well. The Spurs backline did very, very well as well, and obviously we talked about how much possession and overall, the domination Arsenal had in the second half, and the fact that Arsenal didn't manage to do anything with that. Again, down to the Spurs defence, who have been absolutely brilliant recently. I mean, that's 3 clean sheets in a row in big games against City, Chelsea, and now Arsenal in the North London derby. I mean, firstly, Eric Dyer looks like he's just massively come on leaps and bounds this season himself alongside Toby Alderweireld in that defence. They look absolutely solid as ever. And yeah, overall, Tottenham back to the top of the table in style. I mean, doing it the Jose Mourinho way once again, and they've really laid down their marker in the last few weeks in terms of them actually going and, trying to win the Premier League title. And I think they're definitely amongst like 3 or 4 teams that can definitely challenge this season for the Premier League title, and they've showed that in recent weeks. But yeah, overall, more problems once again for Arsenal, because that defeat does leave them in 16th, I think, in the Premier League at this moment in time, which after 11 games is just absolutely rotten, and Mikel Arteta definitely needs to do something in terms of actually fixing them up, or else Arsenal could be really inside a sticky situation going over the Christmas period. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave this video, I think. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop like 15 likes on this video. Would be hugely appreciated by myself as per usual. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are looking to hit 800 subscribers as soon as we possibly can, so if you could just subscribe, it costs you absolutely nothing and makes my day. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.